Happy Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. So this week is a classic book, and fortunately I got it as a gift from my dear fathers at the library. Now, the book is The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. This was written over half a century ago, and it takes parables and stories from ancient Babylon, a city that was part of the ancient Mesopotamian kingdom, and currently it would be technically south of Baghdad if you looked at it on the map today. So the book is a compilation of parables and stories from 4,000 years ago, because Babylon was the richest and wealthiest city in the world at the time. And the thing about money is that it's very much like gravity. The laws around it really don't change over time. And we can take a lot of great lessons from this book on how to manage money, but more importantly, how you manage your life. Now, before I say anything else, please keep in mind that I'm not a certified financial advisor, and you should not take financial advice from someone who's not a certified financial advisor, especially a really cool, handsome guy on the internet doing book reviews. But let me tell you what I got out of the book. Now, here's a couple of key lessons overall from the book that you can take, not just for finances, but life. What you do with what you have is more important than what you have, and what you do with what you get is more important than what you get. Why is that? The reason is because when you look at that and the actions you have around what you get and what you have, it shows our philosophy about life, our character, our values, our culture. It shows what's going on in our head with our value system and our decision-making process. It also shows how we're able to weigh and perceive things. And often the outer is very much a reflection on the inner. It's symptomatic, and if you pay very close attention to it, it'll tell you. It'll tell you where you're calculating things correctly in life and where you're miscalculating. If you open up your bank account to anyone right now and you audit it, where you spend your money will tell me a lot about what you value and the kind of world that you want to live in. Now, one thing a lot of people usually tell me is that if they have more money, they technically would have a better plan, but they have it the other way around. The way it should be is that if you have a better plan, you will have more money. And the thing is, it's not the amount that counts, it's the plan that counts. And not necessarily how much you allocate, but how you allocate. Whether it's a little or a lot when it comes to saving or investing. And I'm going to reveal to you 7 rules that came out of this book on how you should think about money. And again, very much how you can apply it to life. So the first part is fattening up the purse. Now, it's very easy to be tempted into just paying off bills or buying things you want. Always pay yourself first. So every paycheck you get, even if you have to automate it, which I highly recommend, put some money aside for savings. Put some money into a 401k. Pay yourself first and put that money aside. One thing that was found, which was very interesting, is when psychologists showed people a picture of themselves much later in life, very, very old, people were more likely to save money because they were able to visualize an old version of themselves. So maybe that's one thing that you should do to help encourage and inspire yourself to save more money. So fatten the purse. The next thing, and again, these are simple rules, but they're not easy to follow. Control expenditures. Look, just because you make more money doesn't mean you should immediately find ways to spend more of it. One thing that my father always asks himself, and now as a result, I hear his voice, and now I ask myself all the time, is that when I'm about to buy something, I ask, do I really need this? Do I really need this? And ask that out loud. And more times than not, you don't necessarily need it, but if it's something that you just happen to want, ask yourself, is this really going to make me happy? Right? That's a key, and you'll cut off a lot of wasted expenses just by asking yourself that. So control your expenditures, live within your means, right? Live like you still, went to college, because if you do that, you'll be able to save more money in the long run for investments, for startup ideas, for savings, whatever it might be. The third one is make thy gold multiply, but in our case, it's just make your money multiply. If you have money, put it to work. Work with somebody. If you can't afford a financial advisor, you don't need one. Pick up some books and learn. Learn how to invest maybe in your 401k. Perhaps maybe take some money and throw it at some stocks that you really like. You don't need to know a lot about stocks, but for example, there's a few companies whose products I use quite a lot, and I did a little research on them, and I felt that, hey, I think that I would like to put my money in these big companies that have good stocks, because long term they've only gone up, right? Find ways to put your money to work for you. Don't let it just sit in a bank not doing anything. Find ways, even if it's just collecting 1 or 2% interest somewhere. Now, on the flip side of that, the fourth rule is guard your money from loss. Now, while it might be tempting to go into the stock market and, buy some stocks, think of it like this, and this is something that Warren Buffett says all the time. Now, the average percent interest you pay on a credit card for late fees and everything is usually 17 or 18%, sometimes even higher. So it's actually kind of hard to invest in a stock unless you just get lucky and get more than a 10% return. So the best thing you can do is pay off your debt immediately. Those are promises that you made. Make sure you pay that off as soon as you can. If you can't, it's fine. But pick up the phone, call your credit card companies, just have no mercy with them. Negotiate lower rates, but make sure that you're not losing money that way. Protect your money from being lost. Now, the next one is making your dwelling a profitable source. Now, not all of us own a home. Hey, look, I live here in the Bay Area, and at the moment, I don't own my own home out here as well. I used to own one back in Florida, but it's a lot more expensive here in the Bay Area. But one way I found my home to be profitable is that I decided that instead of paying for a weightlifting gym, I started a little garage gym. So I've saved money there. I've made it profitable for myself. And a lot of times when I go to, let's say, gym outlets who are selling a bunch of weights, if I see a bunch of kettlebells, I buy 10 or 15 kettlebells of the same weight and I sell them for a profit through Facebook Marketplace just over the weekend, right? It's a little, side money, but hey, that's one way to sort of add profitability to where you live. And at least for me, I get to practice a skill, which is understanding how I can market and sell better, even in the B2C space. Now, the sixth rule is ensure your future income. That could be anything like taking out certain retirement savings plans, maybe investing in life insurance if you're a little bit older and you have a family. That's something I need to start looking into. Or simply just putting money aside, such as in a 401k, figuring out how you can leverage different tax havens, right? Find ways to ensure future income. And again, if you don't know, use the platform like LinkedIn. Reach out to someone who's a financial advisor, maybe an accountant, and maybe if you can't afford their service, maybe there's a way that you can exchange services to help each other. And the seventh one, which is one of my favorites, is increase your ability to earn in the future, right? And the way that's different from the sixth one is, what that means is find ways to invest in yourself. So take new classes, try and take on new responsibilities at work, network on LinkedIn. Just because you have a job right now doesn't mean that you shouldn't find ways to network and meet new professionals, because there might be a better or different job there in the future, and you're not going to be at your current job for 10, 20 years, right? So always find ways to expand and increase and deepen your skill stack or your talent stack. And think of it like this: whether it's books or online courses, you will never go wrong when you decide to invest a little bit in yourself, because then you're expanding your mind, you're expanding your sight of possibilities, and more importantly, increasing the chances that you'll have more ways to earn more money in the future. So that's the book of the week. Again, a classic, and this one's particularly special because it came out of my father's library. So happy Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed the review, and as always, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.